Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. In today's video, I'm going to talk about upgrading my Yamaha MT-03 for a different kind of bike. Now, because I'm a beginner rider and I don't know a whole lot of bikes out there, I'm going to bring my boyfriend Chris in to help me with this video. So he's going to talk us through what I should be upgrading to, what he thinks that I would enjoy, and what other bikes and styles and types are out there in case you are looking to upgrade. So stay tuned and let's find out what he suggests. Now, I love my Yamaha MT-03. It has been a great beginner bike. It was super easy to learn on. It wasn't too powerful, but also fun enough to want to ride. But now I'm starting to think that maybe I need to upgrade my motorcycle. So I guess the first question that I want to ask is, how do you know when it's time to upgrade your bike? Like, when do you think is the best time to upgrade? How do you know if you're ready? What, I guess, suggestions do you have for new riders who are looking to upgrade their bike?
So to answer the question simply of how do you know you're ready to upgrade, I'll say first that it's a very normal thing to want to upgrade your bike. Because your beginner bike, or bikes that are really good for beginners, tend to have maybe lower seat heights, lower power levels, easy to use features to learn on, but maybe limiting in what they're actually able to do, like a larger bike would. So people that are, I will say, a little bit more intelligent, that opt for a slightly smaller displacement bike to start on, are generally going to find they're limited as their riding progresses in what that bike can do. For those that start out in the 300, 400cc class, probably going to notice within 6 months to a year, depending how often you ride, how much you ride, that bike is really not doing well in some of the things you're going to find your riding wants you to do. It's not going to go well in the canyons, keeping up with other bikes. It's not going to do well on touring or long distance stuff. It's not going to carry a lot of luggage. Even some of the little things on it are going to be a little bit less than ideal to live with. So upgrading is a very normal thing.
Yes, I've been noticing a lot of what you said with my own riding as well. I feel like I'm not able to keep up with others as well. I have never taken this on the interstate because I just feel like I'm not going to have enough power to maintain the speed of other cars on the interstate. And I've noticed that I want to use it as like a daily commuter for me. And the luggage aspect, I travel with a lot of things. I am a female and I have a lot of stuff that I carry with me, especially to work, and I just don't have enough space on my bike. So what do you recommend for someone who wants to use their motorcycle as almost like a commuter bike and needs storage?
The naked style bike that you started on, the MT-03, is pretty awesome for beginners. It is really easy to handle and has a lot going for it, but it really lacks in wind protection, it lacks in storage, and it lacks in overall power, which I think are the kind of the main things we're going to be looking for an upgrader bike. If you started with something in that 650 to 800cc range, obviously displacement's not the full story on the power or performance of a bike, but typically the 650 to 800cc bikes are going to be a little bit more capable on the highway. You're not going to get run over if you try and go on the interstate. They're typically going to have a little bit bigger frames, meaning a little bit more wind protection, and often come with more luggage abilities or more luggage options to kind of get you where you want to go, still not being super powerful or scary to ride. When we break that down, there are a couple classifications. There's cruisers, there's touring bikes, sport touring bikes, adventure touring bikes, and standard bikes. There's a bunch of different things you can go for to kind of get what you're looking for, each with their pros and cons. Right now, the adventure bike class seem to be the most popular. There's a whole lot of mid-level bikes now in that category that would be perfect for that second bike or that upgrade kind of daily livable bike.
So it sounds like we are leaning more towards the adventure touring style bike. Okay, so now for someone like me who has only been riding for a year and is looking to upgrade their bike to be more of a commuter bike that has luggage, that has storage, that has the ability to ride on the interstate, what bike would you recommend to look into as I begin my research in upgrading my Yamaha MT-03?
Realistically, there are going to be a couple options that would be really good for upgrading from the MT03 to something a little bit more usable in the adventure touring segment. Really depends on a couple things. And what I'd recommend first is going to demo days, going to dealerships that allows test ride, renting some bikes. There's a couple rental websites that let you take a bike for a day or two and really get a feel for them. That way you can try a few before you buy. I know it's a little bit more difficult than a lot of cars, because cars typically allow you to go to a dealership and test drive, not so much for a lot of motorcycles. So however you can, I'd recommend actually trying a few different ones to see what you do like. That said, there are a couple kind of very natural ways to progress from something like the MT-03 that would really make sense. Yamaha would sell you on the MT-07 being the perfect upgrade bike, as it's basically everything just made a little bit bigger. The seating position, the power, the way all the menus work makes an easy transition, but again, you're left with no wind protection, you're left with no bags, and it really is kind of an expensive place to start adding that stuff. There are a couple bikes that would be possibly better moves as a second bike from the MT-03, something like a Versys 650, something like the Triumph Tiger 800 or 900, their middle range bike, but those can be sometimes a little bit taller and more expensive. If you go on the high end, something like the Multistrada V4 behind me, counterintuitively, it does have far too much horsepower for a second bike, but it also comes with enough electronics, it can lower that horsepower until you're ready to use it. So depending on your budget, there are a couple maybe even bigger options than you're considering that let you grow into them, but more to your point, they're not necessarily the best second bike.
So right now I am starting to lean towards the Triumph Tiger 800 Low, just because I am not ready to spend thousands or tens of thousands of dollars on a second motorcycle. I kind of want to gradually grow into my bikes. So the Tiger 800 Low is a mid-range motorcycle that won't break the bank, and it seems to have everything that I am looking for in a new bike. It will have the capacity to store items that I don't want to carry around. It will have the ability to ride on the interstates and be more versatile for that everyday commuter. So stay tuned and make sure to subscribe to my channel so you don't miss out, and I will hopefully have a follow-up video with my upgraded bike somewhere in the near future. If you have any other questions about upgrading your motorcycle, please leave them in the comments below and we will try to answer them for you. And until next time, ride safe.